This is going to be the easiest sourdough bread you have ever made. I don't even really measure, and eventually you won't really have to measure, but it's very, very simple. So what I do is I start with my starter that I fed last night. So it's been probably 15 hours since it was fed, and I'll pour about a cup of that in. Just about a cup. And then we do need some hot water, warmish water, tepid water, which actually I didn't get started, so I'm gonna do that now. It'll probably only take about 2 cups. So that'll get warmed up a little bit. Now I'll have to try this out. Okay, while that's warming up, I'm gonna add some flour. I'll end up doing about, we'll start with 4 cups of flour. This is the Jovial 100% Einkorn flour, all-purpose. I get it from Vitacost. It's the 10-pound bag. And my starter is actually just a wheat starter. I got it from a friend a few months ago, and it was just a wheat starter. And I tried to turn it into an Einkorn, and it wouldn't really fluff up. Where's my water? It wouldn't really fluff up, so I just switched it back to a wheat flour. So my starter is wheat, regular, organic, all-purpose wheat. I get that from Azure. And then I actually make the bread with Einkorn. So the water is warmed up a little bit. You want it to be warm so that it rises, but you don't want it to be too warm that it's going to kill your starter. I think it's supposed to be about 100, 102 degrees. Actually, Sage can pour that in. I try to get my kids involved so that they will learn this process as well, because eventually it's going to be passed off to them, the bread making skills, huh? Okay. So this is sort of wet right now, a little soupy. I don't make my dough dry like my sourdough. For this one, it's not really dry. I keep it sort of wet. Next, we can add 2 teaspoons of the Redmond's Real Salt. Sprinkle that over. All right, we'll do one more. Okay, and then we do about 1 tablespoon of organic coconut sugar. You can use regular sugar too, but the sugar we use the most around here is just the organic coconut. In about a tablespoon of that. Let's sprinkle it real good. Sprinkle it. Okay. The sugar will also give the starter some extra food to eat so that it rises really well overnight. Then I add olive oil. If you want your sourdough to be a little thicker, you wouldn't add the oil, but to make it a little bit fluffier, I always add a little bit of olive oil. This is just the Azure brand. You can get any olive oil. Just make sure it's actually olive oil and not fake olive oil, which is out there. It probably ends up being about 1 or 2 tablespoons. All right, and right now it's really sort of wet and greasy, so we will add some more flour to this. Let's see, where is, there we go. All right, scoop out the flour and add it. Just start a little at a time. Sprinkle that around. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, do one more. It's a little messy, but that's why we have rags. Alright, a little bit more, probably half that, sort of. There we go. Okay, this is getting about perfect now. So it's not sticking to the sides, and it's a little gooey still. A little wet, so that when you actually bake it, we'll add a little bit more. When you bake it, you want it to stay moist. You don't want it to get really dry inside. And with this really quick sourdough, I found that it can get hard after you cook it. So I like to keep it a little wet. All right. There we go. So there's the consistency. You can make it a little drier if you'd like, but this is about what I like. And then what I'll do is just cover it. Cover it with a towel. And let it sit in a warmish spot overnight. Most of the time I just put it in the oven overnight. You can have the light on or not on depending on how warm it is in the house. And that is that.